Excellent.
You don't know what you're doing.
Welcome, everybody, to an all-new episode of Much to Do About Nothing. That was a beautiful intro. Like, holy shit. I am a massive Jay-Z fan, and You Don't Know has some of the sexiest drums I've ever heard in a song ever. So, any chance I get to put that out there, I will. But welcome to an all-new episode. I'm your co-host, Jawan. As per usual, I'm joined by my brother, Joel. What's up, Joel?
What is good, Jawan? And what a hell of an intro, considering the title looks so much better with that intro than it does by itself.
It really does. We're going to work on that, but it really does.
It really does. Like, it's like you got
so
this
much
whole
life to it.
grandiose intro, and then really there's not much not to do about nothing. It's,
Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes with it hand in hand,
I
right?
love it. I actually really do.
Yeah, we came across that name. Like, when we said it, we were just like, yeah, that's it. Much to do about nothing. Perfect. That makes all the sense in the world. I got to check and see if we're close to an anniversary with Much to Do About Nothing. I kind of feel like we have to be.
Might be close.
Yeah, we have to be close to an anniversary. We got to do something special for it. Bring some people on. Bring some celeb faces on. You know, call all of our chits. Yeah, call all of our celebrity chits. Anyway, let's get right into it. Let's start off with Thor: Love and Thunder's tickets went on sale today, and apparently, Joel, it wasn't so hard to get it like it was the last two Marvel movies.
Not today. I don't know what it was, but I had no issues getting in and getting out, and I got my tickets early when they dropped.
Mm-hmm.
So no story today to tell of like my stress.
Now, I want to ask you this, and I believe it probably has nothing to do, but, you know, it's our job, so I'll ask it. Do you think part of it might have something to do with the fact that, A, it's not literally directly involved with the last two that we saw? Because you can make an argument people felt compelled for Doctor Strange. Outside of all the rumors of what was going to be in it, it literally was right after Spider-Man, right? So it kind of was like you got to see one to go into the other to a degree. And the fact that I believe amongst fans, maybe not the media, kind of feel like Love and Thunder to a lot of people when it first came out was not reviewed. They didn't like the comedy of it. They did not like the comedy style of Taika Waititi. Say it again? Oh, for Ragnarok, right. You remember that because we were saying that was really weird because we were like, well, if you hated what Thor was before, and let's say you hate what he is now, you have to choose one, right? Unless you just omit Thor completely. I did
remember hearing a lot of bitching during Ragnarok review where I had to defend it. I'm like, well, I mean, it was still a good movie, whether you didn't like how comedic it was or not.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, once you show it, they're like, it's a really good movie, and it's better than what we got.
Yes,
before.
That is the most important key. It is better than what we had before. And to me, that's a win in itself. That you're just better than the last two things that made me almost want to stop looking at Thor. So that's a win. And to me, it was just a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And sometimes I think people just aren't interested in that, and that bothers me because it's like
they turned it into an 80s action movie, bro. Like that's nothing wrong with that. And this continues the same trend.
Right.
This has become an action love story, but okay, we'll see. I can't wait to see what it actually is. But it's tried too hard to be too serious.
Right.
The first two times, and it failed. And he took it in a different direction and saved the franchise. Really. You know?
Yeah, it's a character that in theory is Shakespearean, but should never be portrayed.
I don't want to say never. It just maybe it just wasn't done right the first two times.
I'll give you that. You know why I say never? Because to me, if it's a concept that could work, when we got Ragnarok, that wouldn't have blown it out of the water as much as it did, right? Like it would have been like, okay, it's a nice change of pace. But to me, Ragnarok made Thor feel like this is what he should always be, or should at least have always been.
It made it like a big popcorn action movie.
Yes.
Where if it was Shakespearean, it would still be big and grandiose, but it wouldn't be as probably worldly beloved
Yes.
Just look at the Northman, because people are like, "Oh, that should be what Thor is." I'm like, "You're probably right, but
it's hard to do that in the MCU. Also,
yeah,
like
that's
it's
raw.
way off trend.
That's too
and
raw.
look, last time the MCU did something way off trend, people shit on it. Eternals, that was way off trend than anything you've ever seen in the MCU.
I mean, it didn't help that they were trying to do so many things at once, but
right. Well,
it was very different.
We're not speaking more so to the fundamental issues with it. It was more so it just tried to be different, and people were just like, "Hey, we don't like different." And then they go, "But I want my Thor to be different." And it's like, well, I don't understand what you want here.
Different. He's now more fun.
Right. So we did get some new posters. The one we're looking at now. I love Taika's posters. Really, I do.
Yeah.
These posters might be my favorite. I don't like the posters of them together. I vehemently hate it.
I like the one that dropped before today. I like that one a lot. But all the group posters from today didn't look that great. But the one they dropped for like when the last trailer when they first showed Gorr, I like that. That poster looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think my favorite might be the one of I think it's Love and Thunder is a tattoo on Thor's forearm. I like that. Like I love that a lot. Like that does scream 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like the 80s aesthetic of it. But even Gorr, the poster that we got of Gorr, I love because Gorr's darker than everybody else. So he's supposed to be omitting color. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious. And you know what? I want to bring this up, and we'll take a bit of a left turn before going into our next topic. We'll kind of derive a little bit, but I'm very curious because Eric Voss of got a chance to interview the showrunners for Ms. Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And they were alluding to the fact that what we see of Kamala Khan power-wise won't be what we see by the end of the series. So I bring that up to say I'm now really thinking Taika might be pulling a fast one on this. Like maybe Gorr does look different by the end of that movie, even if it's for a split second. Right. So like I want to ask you now, because you are now familiar with the comics of Gorr the God Butcher. Is the look something that just not bothers you? Because I know it takes a lot for something to really like stick in your craw. But like, is it a little off-putting to keep seeing how drastically different he looks, or is it one of those things that you got over immediately?
I got over it quickly, but that's because I don't have the same connection that other people do with Gorr. I don't, because I read the books and I know what he looks like, and I would have probably preferred that look over what we got. Mm-hmm. But I don't have that connection with it. So like yesterday, I was watching the Resident Evil movie that came out recently, and I'm like bitching, like, why they couldn't put the hat on, or just like little things I was just nitpicking. But for this, like, I let it go. I mean, whatever. He doesn't have his traditional look with the no nose and the more alien looking. And they went with him just basically as a pale Christian Bale. I'm fine with that, We'll see how that plays out. I think what you're saying, what we're gonna see is like his powers are gonna be more like the comic books than we think.
Right.
More so than his actual
not symbiotic, but something close to it.
Well, I mean, even if they don't call it symbiotic, it's gonna look like it is. You know what I mean?
Which is a very thin line. I'm going to be very interested to see how they address it, because if it looks symbiotic but it's not the symbiote, and then you later on introduce the said symbiote, it's going to be, because I told you, even with Black Knight, looking at his sword, it kind of reacting to him was like, what the fuck is this sword? Like, what is this? This isn't the sword that he has in the comics. Like, it's not symbiotic at all. So I'm very curious if these swords are maybe all connected. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe Null had a trophy room that just got raided, apparently.
Well,
so I'm very
you
curious.
have to remember also, like, he lost his arm in the comic books, and it bonded with him, so the sword is like one with his arm.
Right.
So that's why it's a little bit here. He has both arms. And so that's another thing. So if it like became one with his arm, maybe it looks a little different.
Right.
But as of right now, it just looks like a black claymore. It's something we just gotta live with for the time being and see how it's utilized throughout the movie. And maybe it looks a little more like the sword that we know, but it barely looks like a sword in the comics. It just looks like an appendage.
Yeah.
It's like his blade hand.
So I know, because now what I'm starting to do is certain things aren't starting to bother me. Aren't bothering me as much as they used to. So I know last week we were talking about Darth Vader, and you were asking me and Didge, like, what about him do you feel as though is not accurate to what you guys know? So I'm starting to be more so of the mindset of, I don't really care what they look like, right? Because at the end of the day, people are going to want to change what they look like. As long as it's not a drastic change, it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah. And you know what? I take that back. As long as it's not a drastic change of a character, I have to see more than once. So you making Gorr the God Butcher look like this and he dies at the end of this movie, like we know all MCU characters to do, I don't give a fuck. In the grand scheme of things, I don't give a fuck. Right?
Yeah, you're gonna kill him off anyway.
Right. But if you change Thor's look and I have to look at that look every fucking time I see Thor and I don't like it, I'm gonna bitch about it. So now I'm just in a space to where it's like the look is something I could pass by, but it just has to feel like them in essence, right? So like it just has to feel like the character I always knew I'm still getting. It just maybe doesn't look like it.
Right.
Right? So that's where I'm kind of landing now with a lot of things of power sets and looks. Just let them feel like it, right? I mean, hell, we were talking about it before. Kamala Khan. You can tell me she never has her powers. That's fucking Kamala Khan. Just minus the powers. Right? She embodies everything else of that character, just minus her arms going stretchy. That's it. I can live with that.
I mean, they're still stretchy, but it's not like without the purple.
Right. It's not without the her cosmic energy.
Right.
So to me, it's things I could learn to live with. I could just learn to live with. But all right. So let's move on we got some essentially breaking news from the Hollywood Reporter.
So much breaking.
So much breaking news, right? But our breaking news from the Hollywood Reporter, Lady Gaga is being looked at for Harley Quinn.
It's funny because there was rumors earlier in the day from sources.
I love that you said that. Thank you.
and look, when I heard it, I didn't get to tell you this earlier, but when I heard the rumors, I'm like, well, honestly, it's not a hard guess. Like either one, that her popping up in either one of these properties, considering how her attachment to the character. Joker's a big character. Everyone was already guessing Harley would be in it, but just by the title.
Yep.
And then now that it comes out that Harley might be in this and possibly even the Arkham TV show, it's not a hard. It's another thing. We wanted all these characters to show up anyway, and you can't be upset that Margot's not going to be Harley because they're both in two different worlds. It's not the world that Margot's Harley is. So you just have to go with that.
I mean, also, I'm going to be completely honest with you. They don't know what they're doing with Harley Quinn, and the last regime wasn't willing to give Margot Robbie enough control. So I didn't even like the last time I saw her Harley Quinn. So I'm like, huh? Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I completely omitted that entirely because I was basing it off of like her own movie.
You're thinking of Birds of Prey.
I'm thinking Birds of Prey.
Don't think of Birds of Prey. Think of the Suicide Squad. That was the last time we saw.
You know what? I'll go even further. I don't know where you go with Harley next because Suicide Squad left it just as ambiguous as fucking Birds of Prey did. So I'm like, I don't know where you see her next. So I'm like, if you want to take your time with that, by all means. So if you want to pop up a Harley Quinn in Reeves' universe, you want to pop up a Harley Quinn in what is it, Todd? Yeah, it's Todd, right? That's his name? The director of Todd. Yeah. Okay. You want to put a Harley Quinn there? Fine. They're going to each be drastically different than the other.
Yeah, they definitely will be.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm fine with that. So you find something for Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn to do outside of a Suicide Squad movie.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Appropriately. So to me, fine. Whatever. But Lady Gaga is a phenomenal choice. Lady Gaga might be the most comfortable pick for Harley Quinn I've ever had since Brittany Murphy. So I remember when Brittany Murphy, God rest her soul, was still alive, I had always thought she's the fucking epitome of Harley Quinn. You rewatch Sin City, and it's like you're watching Harley fucking Quinn, right? So I'm like, she was the only other choice that I looked at that I'm like, her, no one else. Then Margot Robbie obviously came around. But Lady Gaga, to me, has the look. Apparently, this movie is supposed to be more so of a musical.
She's got the pipes.
She's got the pipes. So I'm like, she's already checking things off the board here.
And
we know she can act. Yeah, we know she can act. Shout out to Trayvon, 3 Harley Quinns for the win. Mr. E, I want this Joker universe to be whatever it wants to be. Any changes to the lore they want to do, go for it.
I agree. Because do what you want. This movie, you have carte blanche. I don't give a fuck. It's not the universe. It's not my universe. It's whatever they want to do universe, basically. Mm-hmm. That last movie was not something I asked for, and actually turned out to be pretty good. So do whatever the fuck you want.
I will say I am fine with that once I see this Arkham series. Because to me, as long as I'm getting an appropriate Joker and Harley somewhere else, I don't give a fuck what. I can completely omit it, what Todd's doing. I just want to know that he's being properly represented somewhere.
When I found out that they were doing, when I found out like that Harley will be in it and it will be a musical, I'm like, I'd much rather have whatever the fuck this is over whatever solo Joker Harley movie we're gonna get before that had Jared Leto in it.
Now, you know what? I would have liked to have seen what they were going to do with it.
Because it couldn't have been a solo between what that just did.
To me, it couldn't have been any worse than I perceive Birds of Prey to have been. I agree with you on conceptually why, right? I don't disagree with that at all. But because I'm now years from it, and I've seen no other Jared Leto as Joker, I would have at least preferred to have had that. And then if you told me that was the last time I ever saw him, I could have at least said I got a full Joker out of Jared Leto to just approach it better. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, even if you did it and you still decided to axe it, fuck it. But at least I got more from it. So I could have given, just more in depth on how I felt about his
I just feel like it was fitting that he didn't get along because Ben didn't get along. So it's like they both never got all of what they needed to do. Right. And only met once in a movie that was, released like 4 years later. And they filmed in the backyard of Zack Snyder. And what a fun little scene. But, that was the only time they ever actually met.
Right. Lady Gaga was awesome in American Horror Story Hotel. I won't even say that because I haven't watched the show. I'll say she was nominated for and won an Oscar.
Yeah. In that season.
My only question is how Harley Quinn even fits in that Joker role. Very easily. Yeah. What? You honestly could actually follow the exact storyline of how they met.
Yep. They both could. Technically, we're going to do the Arkham show and this one. She's a therapist.
Yeah, she's a therapist that he meets in the not the insane asylum in Arkham, but it's the insane asylum.
It is an insane asylum.
So I'm like, you don't have to change that at all. You could stick with that.
Yeah. And then she falls madly in love with him.
Right.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing has to change. I personally prefer Elizabeth Moss as Harley Quinn. In a musical, no. But if you're telling me that you're doing just a pure adaptation of Harley Quinn, I'm not against it. But no way do I want anyone besides Lady Gaga doing this musical. She's just perfect for it, right? She's perfect for it.
And again, specifically, yes, I agree 100%.
And again, if she's bad, guess what? Likelihood is you won't get a third, and you won't ever see it again. So it's like I don't really put much stock in it.
I've seen enough of Elizabeth. No offense, she's a great actress. She's fucking everywhere.
She does have a show on Apple TV right now, or Apple Plus, whatever you call the show.
Everywhere I look, she's there. I'm like,
look, for her, you had the show that she had on Hulu that was fucking gigantic.
Yeah.
Then after that, you followed it up with The Invisible Man. That was fucking phenomenal.
Awesome. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she's hitting home runs everywhere she goes.
That's what I mean. Like I swear. And I just finished watching Mad Men not that long ago, so she was in that. So it's like.
And to be fair, Joel does have a very strict rule of you cannot have residency everywhere. So he's like, you can have it in 2 spots, but not 5. You can't have it in 5. We are not talking about anything Ezra Miller here, so that's not being discussed here at all.
There's drama, and we want some type of resolution. That's it.
Unless you're asking me about the Flash movie, I have no interest in talking about anything.
As long as you call it the Flash and not the fucking Flush, we will talk about it.
Who's calling it the Flush?
Don't even worry about it. I just brought up that.
Okay, I'm like, I've never heard that, but okay, all right.
Yeah, don't worry about it. A lot of
To be honest, I'm just over Ezra's. Yeah, like I said, I
We
have
all
no
are.
interest in
We
talking
all
about
are.
anything legal. That is for the legal system to handle. Our job is to talk about geekdom.
Once
And the
there's some
geekdom of it is.
substantial news about that, then maybe we'll talk about it. But for right now,
I'm going to be
drama,
honest.
it's just more drama. That's all.
The height of me talking about Ezra will be whether or not he is still Flash past next year.
That's what I mean. That's the only news that matters.
Yeah, that's
like his status is the only thing that matters right now.
But yeah, overall, if Lady Gaga does indeed get this role, and it is indeed going to be more so of a musical, like I said, I omit this already. This is omitted in my brain. This is noise. You know what I'm saying? My focus is now that you're telling me Matt Reeves might be giving us a Harley Quinn to go alongside his Joker. That's where my focus is, because that's a connected universe with a Batman, possibility of a Robin down the line. We could even maybe fucking get Under the Red Hood with Matt Reeves. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, that's where my sole focus is. This is just noise in the background.
Fine, because that's its own thing as well. So it's like,
right.
They're not touching. They do this. You can do this. If it's good, that's a cherry on top for us. If it's not, I didn't care anyway.
Right. Because again, we still have to figure out what our main continuity is doing.
Right. That matters to me a little bit more than what they're doing on the Joker side of things. That's all extra. you know.
Right. Elizabeth Moss's Harley Quinn thoughts. We completely went over it. We completely went over it.
Like 5 minutes.
I said that if this was not a musical and they casted her, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But because it is a musical, Lady Gaga is just perfect. Like she's perfect.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
tired
to me,
of
I'm fine
Elizabeth Moss. Yeah, that's all.
Right. And Joel's like, let's move on from Elizabeth Moss. I didn't hear you. Is our sound coming in? Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Though? Can you actually hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear us, or are you saying you just missed it completely? But yeah. All right. So let's move on. This news was really interesting, more so for you, Joel, because I think you got further in it than I did.
What?
One Punch.
I'm up to date. It's only 2 seasons.
Oh, I've not even completed the first. But Justin Lin from the Fast and Furious is apparently set to direct Sony's One Punch Man live action movie. Oh wow, yeah, I'll definitely check on that then, Mystery. But Joel, what are your thoughts on Justin Lin doing One Punch Man?
I'm happy, very happy. I love One Punch Man. I very much look forward to seeing how they turn that into live action. It's very whoa. Mm-hmm. And I really look forward to seeing the adaptation. I want to see the actors involved. Is it going to be more? Because if it's going to be made in America, will it be based in America? Because it's based in Japan over there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I think either way, they're still going to probably cast an Asian actor, regardless. But like, I just want to know where it's going to be based, how they're going to adapt it, how they're going to cast the other actors and other heroes, because those characters are important too. And yeah, that first season's awesome. Second season's good too, but the first season was just insane. And like again, like if you think Superman's overpowered, wait till you meet One Punch Man.
I'm surprised you even watched it.
Well, I did it at first. I didn't like it at first.
I know. To know you is to know that.
I did not. I'm like, it's not grabbing me. Then I gave it another chance, and then it hooked me. And I'm like, this show's fun. The show is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: Would you have an issue if it did take place in America?
No.
No.
As long as it's established, you know that's what you're doing. The same thing that with what's it called? My Hero. Like, so you're establishing it's not that instead of doing it in Japan, you do it here. As long as that's established and it's diverse, I don't care.
Yeah, I only ask that because for me, Snake Eyes, that movie could not take place anywhere but where it did. It's just the authenticity. You know that Henry Golding. Sorry, just it.
Yeah. Well,
that needed to be there.
That's important to the story. Like
right.
Him being in Japanese doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. No, I mean, I'm only asking because I know a lot of people when Goku was casted, and they casted him as white. That was just like a...
I'm just saying, you don't have to cast... I don't care. Casting is different than where it takes place. Because
Okay.
Dragon Ball Z takes place in a fictional Earth. Like, it doesn't matter. That's not a real country or city where they're at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
This is different. Like One Piece takes place. Not One Piece. One Piece is another one. It's fake, all fake shit. But like One Punch Man takes place in like a version of Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The same thing with like Bleach. Like a lot of it takes place, and even their afterlife kind of looks like Japan. So it's very Japan. That specifically.
Okay, so let me clean up my question, because I do think those two things are usually or should usually be connected. So like, if it takes place in Japan, your lead character should not be white. So that's what I more so meant.
No,
right.
Yeah,
so that.
Okay. But I don't think, even if it takes place in the U.S., I don't think he has to be white either. Like,
wait, say that last part again. Sorry.
If One Punch Man takes place in America, I still don't think that One Punch Man has to be white.
Oh, right. Yeah. No. America could encompass anything. But in Japan, it's giving me Tom Cruise vibes. So it's like, as long as you don't do that, I'm okay.
That's what I mean, though. Like, I think if the character is, even if doesn't take place in Japan, it takes place here. So it's like we're telling it from our side of our view of it, and it's American, and he's still played by an Asian. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I'm with you there. All right. Yeah, popular anime being adapted by Americans. What's the worst that could happen? Here's how to make a successful embrace the silliness of the show and how he is portrayed. He's a level 100 character beating up a bunch of level 1 through 10 characters.
It's so true.
Yeah, I think the struggle they're going to have is
have to embrace the silliness.
That is the silliness of the character, but your big bad has to be substantial.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of big bad, and they're very dangerous to normal people.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So when you convert it to this, because of mainstream, your big bad has to be significant. Like, he has to be on par with him. You're gonna have to make him on
once
par
he fights the at the end of the first season. That is the reason he struggles is he can't touch him. It's like, so if you can't touch him, you can't beat him. You know what I mean? So that's really where he struggles there. But he eventually touches him. but that's the thing. It's like he can beat you with one
punch. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Also, the casting has to be good. I'd prefer an unknown. I'm with you. I know Henry Golding's name was thrown out a year or two ago. It was just a rumor. This was not by any major trade. It was just one of those rumors. At the time, Chloe Zhao's name was being looked at for director, and that obviously is not happening. So, but yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree at all. I think when you go more so unknown, they're more agreeable to certain things that bigger names aren't. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I'm fine with that.
You gotta nail the look. You gotta nail the tone, the look for all the characters too. You know what I mean? Like, even if you're gonna be diverse, like I already thought about like this actor could do this actor. I would love to like cast that fucking the main, because there's different levels to these heroes.
Right.
Like A with S, all the extra shit. So, and it's funny because he's not ranked at first. So it's like he's not a ranked hero, and then he has to try out, and it's really funny watching that whole thing. Which I'm surprised you haven't gotten that far yet, but I think
I haven't. I think I stopped for something, and then no, I stopped for something, and then I just forgot to go back. It had nothing to do with the show. Like, I didn't like it or anything. I just forgot to go back. Yeah. But I'll put it on my list. Make sure I check it out. Yeah. All right, HBO Max has ordered an animated Batman featurette film set in Mexico called Batman what? How do you pronounce that?
Batman Azteca some shit. I gotta read the wada.
Yeah. It's better you help me out with that.
You can't read it, man.
No, I just don't want to butcher it, and I know I'm gonna butcher it.
Azteca Choque de Imperios. Not really sure what that means. There you go. But yeah, he looks dope. And it's funny because I was looking up something Aztec recently, and like there is like some type of Aztec armor that looks like a bat symbol, which is funny that now they're doing an Aztec Batman. Not long after I looked that up, look, that's interesting.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, because again, Batman is everything to me, so I don't believe in a Batman fatigue. Fuck it, keep going around the globe. You did Japan Batman. Now you want to do Aztec Batman? Keep fucking going. Keep going. Keep going. Don't stop.
Batman, it's a Bat multiverse.
Yeah, don't stop. Keep going. I don't give a shit.
Batman, Aztec Bat. I want this skin in multiverses.
Oh shit! Yeah, that would be awesome. Now I know what I'm wearing at Comic-Con. Shout out to Mystery. This is a dope ass look. I tell you what, when we go later on this year, this will be a heavily utilized suit, which will be interesting because it doesn't show a bottom. So a lot of people will be basing it off of just the helmet, the cape, and the chest piece, and they'll get creative to go down.
And to be fair, it's HBO Max Latin America has ordered an original animated feature-length film. So it'll still come to a regular HBO, but it's like that'll be it's HBO Max Latina.
Hey, and look, what do we always talk about? Representation matters. So now there'll be little boys that look up and see Batman that looks like this, and they're like, "Fuck yeah, I could be Batman." And it's like, "You sure can? You sure can?" Just be careful. I don't know if I need a Batman Africa. So be careful.
Hey man, it's out there. Hey, one of my favorite Batman is Buccaneer Batman. So
Buccaneer Batman. Wow.
He looks cool, right?
No judgment here. We don't judge here. No judgment here. But no, I'm really excited for that. I can't wait to see how that pans out and if they maybe build on that.
Never know. It's cool. Good. And you like it. I wonder what his rogues gallery looks like in the Aztec times.
100%.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is something to look forward to, what they do with that. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, moving on. Jason Blum says he recently spoke with Chris Landon about a third Happy Death Day. Quote, "We discussed it. I'm not saying we're doing it, but we discussed it. It was very much on top of our minds. I'm not saying we're doing it, but I'm not saying we're not doing it." Look, Jason Blum, I only ask for one thing once a year, and that's for a Happy Death Day movie once a year. Once a year, that shit should be dropping religiously. That's all I'm saying. Those movies, to me, are peak cinema. Fucking love them. Have no issues with them. And I take no slander to those movies.
I've never, ever watched one, so I'll take your word.
Well, I'll say this. It's kind of more so in vein of Scream. So if you like Scream, then you'll be fine. But if you don't like Scream, then you will not like it. It's not necessarily, and Jayla would help me out with the phrasing of it. It's not necessarily a slasher, I guess. But it is definitely one of those whodunits. That's just really fun when you get to see like who actually did it. And the second one was fucking time travel. So I'm like, this is fucking bananas. I love it. Like, what else do you want to do? I'm game for it. So I'm excited. Jason Blum, please just make the fucking movie. You keep talking about it because you know we like it. So just make it.
I mean, there's already 2, so why not? Right?
Yeah, just fucking keep going. Shit. Scream is at 7. And it took a big ass gap in between some of them. So fuck it. Keep making them. Who cares? All right. I'm looking at these combined Thor posters and oh my god. Oof. Yikes. We just got confirmation today, Joel. Rian Johnson reveals the title for Knives Out 2 will be called Glass Onion.
I like it. Even though I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I was about to say, I don't know what the fuck that means, but sure. That's a great cast you assembled. That's really all I can say.
And the first movie is really good, so.
Yes, it is. We saw that together, right?
Did we?
I think we did. Yeah, I think we did.
But it was good. It was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I can't wait for it. I kind of wish they gave me a trailer. Would have been cool. That
would have been nice instead of like a title. You know.
Yeah, to me, a title being revealed is either something, for me, I'm only speaking for me, that I'm only interested in if it's geek related. If it's not geek related, they could have fucking just called this Knives Out 2 and I would have had no fucking problem with it.
I thought that's what it
was. So to me, I'm like, if you're not giving me footage, I don't give a fuck what you're calling it. We don't even know what it means. Okay, cool.
Absolutely.
Mr. E's telling you that Happy Death Day, Joel, is Groundhog Day meets Halloween meets Back to the Future.
That sounds cool. I mean, I've seen the trailers. I just haven't sat there and given it a chance yet. Like, I'm starting to watch like movies at home again. I usually just watch TV. I watched Resident Evil yesterday. I told you. Mm-hmm. That's the first movie I watched here in a while.
on Stars, right?
Yeah, I watched on Stars. I'm like, I wanted to see it, and I finally took a minute, and I watched it last night.
So what Joel was saying is he was not willing to pay for it, but he would very happily watch that shit for free.
Hell yeah. That was definitely a decent free movie.
Trayvon says a Knives Out story. Love that. Now give me my Clue remake. They are working on Clue, right? Isn't Ryan Reynolds and Jason Bateman
They're
working
doing
on Clue?
something.
I thought it was Clue. I might be wrong. They're working on some game turn movie. I know that.
I think it is. I don't know. I forget.
I thought it was Clue.
I love Clue, so I mean, I hope so. Like,
I'd have, and those are two very brilliant minds to come together to do something.
yeah, it was Ryan Reynolds and Bateman.
Yeah, they're working on something. I just don't remember if it was Clue or not. We didn't talk about this to start, so we can talk about it now. But Thor: Love and Thunder will reportedly clock in at 1 hour and 59 minutes. This will be Marvel's shortest movie since Ant-Man and the Wasp.
That is short. Goddamn.
Hey, look, if you feel as though you told the story you needed to tell, okay.
Yeah. As long as you feel comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
Yeah. To me, and look, I know a lot of people are gonna go, but you didn't like it when DC. No, DC did it to save money. I don't like that shit.
No, they shortened it.
Right. That means you're cutting movie.
They cut a half hour, exactly.
Right. To make money, to meet money obligations.
Yeah, and
but
this
if
guy
Taika's saying this
extra,
was his decision, I'm
right,
fine.
and this guy had an extra 2 hours in the other Justice League movie.
Right, yeah. I'm like, he gave me 4 hours. So I'm like, how is it you managed to make it right at 2 hours and he had 4? Like, something's obviously wrong.
That's a lot of cutting.
A lot of fucking cutting. We got, and I'm not familiar with this character. I would have loved to have gotten Jayla's opinion on this too, but we got our first look at the Spot, voiced by Jason Schwartzman, in the Across the Spider-Verse movie coming out next year. No, I don't. I have no idea.
I remember he's in the old cartoon. He was a character. I remember him being a character in the old Spider-Man animated series. Very cool looking character, and he can just basically open up portals, spots. He puts his hand through it and then come out the other side. I mean, it was really cool. It was basically, he could just walk through his little portals like that.
Yeah, no, not at all. I looked at it and just went, okay.
The Spot. Yeah, he was always one of my favorite looking villains. And it's like, I swear, I've seen him in that one episode, and that's it. But he always liked him. Always liked him.
You know what, Joel? You might have to pipe down your praise, because right now, Sony's just like, oh, you like him? Live action coming up. Don't even worry, Joel. We got you. Live action on the way. Don't say less.
He would have been a cool character. I mean, I do like the Spot. I'm not gonna lie.
I hope they bring in the 90s animated Spider-Man. Spot was in that.
He was. That's what I was talking about, the 90s.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved that episode.
I am curious because we also got to look at a poster at a festival going on of Miles and Spider-Man 2099 fighting.
He looks so massive.
He does look massive. I guarantee you, Oscar definitely put that. He put that in contract negotiations. Like, make me big as shit. But I am very curious what the beef is between the two of them.
Who knows? No idea.
I don't believe it's a long-lasting beef. I believe they will end up working together. But I am curious what the beef is that sparks it.
Right.
Because we saw in the teaser that they gave us last year, that they were fighting through different universes. So it's like that's a long beef to have. That you're just like, I'll fuck you up through multiple universes.
Yeah.
Like it don't stop here.
Yeah.
A Spot movie starring Vin Diesel. Don't say that, Mr. E, because that shit'll likely happen.
That'll work. Stop it.
Do that. Don't do that.
Give them ideas.
Don't help them. They're fine on their own. Don't help them. But what were you saying, Joel? I'm sorry.
They have they announced 2 more characters too, though. Captain Stacey is going to be in it. Obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's her Gwen's dad,
right?
And Vulture is going to be in it too.
Ooh. I like me some Vulture, so I'm fine there. Yeah. I'm cool if they're going to update his look or make him look more like we know him to look.
I wonder.
I wonder, because I'm like, I'm very curious if Keaton popularized that look for Vulture.
I like the new look, movie look.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm curious if they use it.
It might look different because all the other ones kind of look different too.
Right. But I'm like, in the animation world, how Vulture looks in the comics could work in the animation world. It just does not work. It does not work live action.
No, it does not.
It does not work live action. All right, so we finally got from Netflix something I think we thought was confirmed last year, but Netflix finally confirmed Squid Game season 2 has been confirmed.
Confirmed. I wasn't sure if it's confirmed, but I'm happy that it's coming back.
I'm like, Squid Games did bananas numbers for Netflix, so I'm like, to not bring it back seems like that would have been the decision the creator made, not Netflix. Because I'm like, in a time where they think they're not making money, you don't have the luxury of telling people no.
Right.
Especially if they're making you that much money. So I'm excited for this. I enjoyed the first one.
I loved it. Yeah.
I rarely watch things in subtitles, and when I mean rarely, I mean I never fucking watch things in subtitles. So you got to be really fucking good to get me to sit there.
I watched it. I dubbed it. So.
Oh wow! See, okay. So my problem was there was something called The Platform that Netflix dropped, and I watched that dubbed, and it was the worst fucking thing ever. So I'm like, well, now I got to kind of watch things as they're being put out, right? So if it's being put out in Spanish, I'll just watch it in Spanish and just put subtitles on. So I'm like, I did that with Squid Games after watching The Platform, and I enjoyed it.
I mean, no doubt it's still good in Korean.
Yeah.
because I work in the afternoon, sometimes I can't look up.
I get you. I completely get you. Like I said,
Right.
Usually I don't do it, so I get you.
So I need to hear. So that's why I don't watch anime during the afternoon, because I can't really pay attention like I want to, and I don't like watching dubs.
Did you feel like the dub took away from it at all at any points of
I've watched 2 shows now dubbed. I've watched a lot of shows now dubbed. I watched Who Killed Sarah. That's really good. That's in Spanish, and I still watch that shit in dubs. And then I watched.
I can only imagine Joel just like, I don't know those words. Like, I don't know any of
They talk too fast. I don't know if can't pay attention. But I watched that and dubbed, and I watched Squid Games and some other 2 other Korean shows. The zombie one, the We're All Dead one, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And then some other one with these fucking hell monsters. That was good too.
I love how Joel's like, the fucking hell monsters, whatever the fuck they were. Yeah.
Oh, but I did watch the Kingdom in with subtitles. I did.
Oh, okay.
Which is the zombie Korean.
Yep. You got me to watch
ancient Korean, not the school one.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Taika Waititi gives us an update on his Star Wars movie, saying, "quote I'm still writing. I'm still coming up with the ideas and storytelling it, and just wanted to make sure that it feels like a Star Wars film." Well, I appreciate that. You know, I also
know what that is though, because obviously
right,
there's a lot of debate on what Star Wars is.
Yes.
Everyone has their own opinion.
Yes. To me, it just has to feel like what you're adapting. That's all.
Depends on what it is.
That's all. Yeah, that's all. That's all I ever asked for. I don't even necessarily ask for accuracy anymore. Really? Just let it feel like whatever you're adapting. Yeah, that's really as much as I can ask for. Yeah, right. They don't allow me to ask for accuracy anymore. So I can't ask for that. So fuck it. You know? But Joel, I don't want to ask you about the story. I want to ask you more so, are you excited to be getting back to Star Wars movies? Or would you have liked them to have waited a little bit more? You know, give us just more TV content.
We're going to get plenty, so I'm not hoping for more. We're going to get plenty of TV content. Not that I'm excited to get back to the movies, but I'm excited to see what Taika does with Star Wars. So if it's a movie, I'll take it. You know, it's been a while. It's about time. Maybe we get back and maybe we can restart it and see where that takes us. But I'm in no rush to go back to the movies because I've been very happy with it on TV.
Yeah, I do think, and it'll never happen. It'll never happen, but I just have to voice it. I really do think Kathleen Kennedy should take a look at rebooting those 3 movies. I really do. I really do.
The original trilogy?
The one she just did, not the OG ones.
No.
The one that just.
You reboot it. You reboot them all. You reboot them all.
Those aren't. I would say the most divided Star Wars fans have ever been, and I thought the prequels were the most divided Star Wars fans could ever be.
I say they can be fixed just like the prequels can. I do believe it.
Sure, but again, most of people's problems were the characters themselves, not the story at all.
The characters.
So that's what I'm saying.
You can get enough of those characters in the time coming into it that won't feel like, because you got to remember, like, we haven't seen those characters in years, and then you just gave us their end basically, without us seeing them get to that.
Hold on, okay, I see what you're talking about now. No. I didn't mean the OG characters. I meant the newer characters.
Well, the new characters, they're still fresh enough to be rejiggered. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That is what you got to fix, not the story. The story is whatever.
Yeah.
People
they were mostly wasted or just utilized oddly. So you can, again, that can be fixed through side stories and other things, and then the new trilogy we look at it differently, just like we look at the prequels differently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, goddamn, that was a battle I fought for fucking forever. So now seeing the whole world just like, yes, fucking love it all, and I'm just like, you didn't though. You fucking did not. You did not. I had to fight for Revenge of the Sith for a long fucking time.
Well, yeah, I mean, they've always had a good world. The movies always weren't perfect, but the world.
I believe that from even the originals.
Yeah, well, but I think that was probably better story-wise structured. You know, I think there was too much politics, honestly, in the prequels, and then they fleshed it out better in like the Clone Wars show, and then stuff like that, where it's like, because we want more action, and then they tried to go too far with the CGI, that they didn't have the tech wasn't there yet, you know.
My only issue with the prequels is Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones just could have been more visually pleasing, and you could have just fleshed out cooler things, like the fact that I didn't get a proper fight with Jango Fett in the Jedi, and then you end with just cutting his fucking head off, was just like, that seems underutilized.
It was just, it could have been way more practical. Movie.
Yeah. I'm watching the little teaser trailer that came out today of Thor: Love and Thunder, with the announcement for the tickets being on sale. Yeah. And I forgot to bring this up to you. Thor in that teaser mentioned we have to assemble a team, right? For the threat that's coming. And he mentions the Guardians. So now I'm very fucking confused. Does what we see of the Guardians, is that actually towards the end of the movie rather than what we thought was just the start of the movie and then they're gone? Do you think they now have a bigger role than we thought they would?
Well, I figured they had a bigger role because they're in the trailer, they're in the toys. So you figured they were more than just cameos.
No, I thought it was essentially just they're on an adventure together. They decide to separate, and then they're gone, and then the whole rest of the movie is now, Thor and Valkyrie and Jane.
I mean, that could still very much be the thing. It's just, and the Guardians. He says the Guardians, but it's like he can't confirm that they're going to actually show up.
That is also true. Yeah, that's also true.
Like, I just thought they'd be there, but they're not here. And
they didn't show up, so we're by ourselves here, guys. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. I'm with you.
Not in the poster. Yeah.
Well, that's why I said I'm confused, because to me, them being in toys makes all the sense in the world. It's just they're notable. You know them. People know them, so it's easier to sell that than you putting in a new character or whatever the hell in this pack. So that I get. That I for sure get. All right, no problem. Just wanted to ask. It definitely was something that struck me and was like, this is definitely for Jayla, but I am curious your thoughts. M. Night Shyamalan did not retire like I was praying he would after Old. Apparently, we're getting Knock at the Cabin. I am very happy for Dave Bautista. I love whenever I see he's starring in something. Like, he's one of the main names. Mm-hmm. Rupert Grint is also in it. And Nikki Amuka Bird is also in it. Comes out February 2023. Do you know anything about Knock at the Cabin?
I know it has a name, and I knew Dave Bautista was in it. That's all I knew.
I knew nothing of this movie, but I do know I have not enjoyed. Jayla says hype.
I'm excited because he's hit or miss, but I look forward to it when it's a hit. So, but you never know.
I do one day want to break down. Obviously not today, but I do want to break down how many fucking misses to hits did he have. Because I believe his hits are just so fucking phenomenal. We make them shit sound like he had like 9.
Well, that's the problem.
He had like 3.
When he hits, they're not singles; they're like home runs.
Right. And I do give him credit. He was the executive producer for I believe he was the executive producer for Devil, the movie that took place in the elevator, and I fucking love Devil.
That was good
I
too.
fucking love Devil. Oh, Jayla says the hype was for Spider-Man. She's cautiously optimistic about the new horror movie. Yeah, like I said, Joel's absolutely right. He's only had like 3 home runs, but to me, I see his misses. His misses stick out to me more than his mains.
They don't for me because I don't care about them.
Because to me, it's just like you know what it is.
They miss they move on.
you know what it is for me when we were talking about Julius Randle. We were saying like, what is the real Julius? Like, have a good year, bad year, good year, bad year. Who is the real him? To me, I feel like his batting average is horrible. If you're talking about fucking M. Night Shyamalan, he has way more misses than he does makes. But like you said, the makes turn out to be like fucking cult classics. So it's like, well, fuck, you know. But I'm like, he misses a lot.
Yeah, but if you go by batting average, there's a lot of actors that make a lot of shit movies, but some of them good ones are like memorable as fuck. So you're sitting there like,
but the only olive branch I would give the actors is, and again, I'm not putting what you just said on the spot, but my questions usually are, were you bad, or was everything else about this fucking movie bad? As a director, you're usually in control of the everything else. Yeah,
but sometimes,
you know what I'm saying?
Let's say Nicolas Cage, for instance, you're just taking shit to take shit at this point.
Well, yeah, but you know what's funny, Joel? You can usually tell that by the trailer, right? So if you go into that movie thinking it'll be anything different, that's a you thing. That's not a them
if
thing.
It's in the theaters or not. That's what
yeah. And sometimes even if it isn't in theaters, you can kind of just look at it and go, you didn't try.
It was the seventh son.
Yeah, because look, the movie that came out with Michael Keaton, Samuel Jackson, and what's her name? She was from the Nikita show.
Yeah.
On CW. I love that movie. It actually came out in theaters, and people shitted on it. So I'm like, you could make an argument Keaton and Samuel Jackson took it for money, but I actually really enjoyed that movie a lot. But man, did that get just so shitted on. They treated that movie like they should have treated Anna. Anna was the hottest form of fucking garbage I've ever seen. It had one good scene in it, and the rest was hot boo-boo cakes.
People are weird, man.
They are. They really are. Because they looked at Anna and they were like, that's not that bad. And I'm like, what the fuck did you watch? What did you watch? That movie was god-awful.
Yeah.
All right, some more good news. An extended cut of Spider-Man No Way Home titled The More Fun Stuff version is coming to theaters on September 2nd. So one thing I don't like about them doing this is it was a bitch to get the tickets for the actual theatrical version of this thing. Mm-hmm. Now you want to do an extended cut and you think it's going to be easier to fucking get tickets? No, just fucking release that shit on Disney Plus. Stop being assholes. Goddamn.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, enough. Right? Like, good. To me, only way I would accept going back to theaters to see this is if it's an overwhelming amount of new footage.
Yep. It better be something really good in there.
Right. Almost to where the movie just doesn't even seem like it's the same movie. Like, it seems like you cut a whole nother movie.
It better be some good shit.
Better fucking be.
And then tell me that after I buy the Blu-ray, you motherfucker.
Like, I could have waited and bought the whole steelbook of the whole thing you're gonna put out.
Yeah, pieces of shit.
Fucking assholes. Gotta milk that money. That's for damn sure. And they milked the fuck out of it. That is for sure. We talked about this a little bit on Sunday, but we'll talk about it again. Filming of HBO's The Last of Us has wrapped. Joel, what level of
excitement?
No, because I know how excited you are.
Resentment.
No, none of those. How much pressure do you put on this? And the only reason I ask that is, if this was coming from anybody else, I wouldn't even ask this. But because it's HBO, and we know the kind of money they have, we know the kind of commitment they put into their projects, the perfection they look to strive for. Do you put any amount of pressure on this being good? Not it being accurate or hardcore to the, where it came from, just it being good. Do you put any pressure on it?
I think based on the actors, the fact that it's on HBO is enough for me to say it's going to be good. Now, everything else is like, can it be accurate as well?
Right. And that's why I said, I don't want to, because to me, I don't know how far to go into that questioning because, like I said, I've never played the game. I've seen the cutscenes, but I've never played it. So I would leave that up to you.
It's so awesome. I can't wait to see how they depict those moments where you're playing in the show. How do you depict it? There's so many horror moments, or those moments where you're in the dark and you can't move, you can't make a lot of noise so they can hear you. It's all about, because there's 3 stages to those fuckers, right? Like there's a point where they kind of
right?
They're
called the clickers, right?
Are they clickers? I don't remember.
I think they're called the clickers.
They're
Jayla, let me know. Let me know if it's called the clickers, Jayla.
They look like fucking fungus. But like there's 3 different stages. Like the first stage, they're kind of zombie like. They're not there yet. They can see you and they run. Like they can run after you hard, right?
It is the clickers.
Okay. So then there's the second phase. They look like disgusting. It's less than scary. They're just like disgusting to look at. So the fact that we're gonna see that shit in live action is frightening, because I can't imagine people are gonna watch this and probably throw up, or not watch it because they can't watch those things. They're that disgusting, dude. There's some nasty ones, and they can't see at that point, right?
Right.
They're looking around, they can't see, but they're strong, and they'll run after you. Those motherfuckers, those are the scary ones, because you gotta be very careful. And then there's the big ones, but like probably there's not many of those, but those guys are fucking disgusting too. Like, oh man, it's some nasty shit. But there's a lot of moments like where you're like, it's all about survival. Like how are they gonna do, putting stuff together, like when you're like making like attachments for your weapons, and like you make your silencers out of a bottle, like a thing like that. Like I love all the like creativity, because you just they use home equipment and put stuff together to heal and to do shit like that. So, God, I can't wait.
Look, you sold me. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, I'm not going to dive deep into the games. I'll allow this show to be my knowledge.
If you can ever get into those games, I would definitely say play that shit.
Oh, no. I'm only saying that because I don't have a PlayStation. If I had a PlayStation, I'd
dive
right into it.
For now.
Out of spite, I'll never fucking get one of those things.
I say
Trayvon says, I'm going to be there day 1 first showing. He's referring to the Spider-Man thing. God bless you. You are part of why they put it out.
You can tell us.
Trayvon, you are the exact market that Sony was looking for when they decided to do that. They're just like, there's a lot of Trayvons out there that will come see us. And look,
Spend the money. Spend that money.
All right, this next one I couldn't wait to talk about for 2 reasons. One good, one bad. A Duke Nukem movie is in the works from the creators of Cobra Kai. I am extremely excited about that, but my one reservation is, if it's not John Cena, I don't want it. I want John Cena as Duke Nukem. That was the rumor 2 years ago. I wanted to rehash itself, get John Cena to do it. I'm there day 1, reserving tickets, whole 9. I desperately want that. I desperately fucking want that. But Joel, how excited are you for a Duke Nukem movie, let alone by your guys from Cobra Kai, the creators of Cobra Kai?
I love me some Cobra Kai, and right there gives me hope that it's going to be at least good. Can they do something that's worth it? I hope so. I do believe, depends who they cast, honestly, because I saw someone throw out what's his name, Alan Richardson, who was what's his name? God damn it!
It has no. You're right. It is Alan.
Well, what the hell's the name of the show?
Oh,
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, Jack Reacher.
Yeah. That guy. That would be a good guy too. That guy, he could definitely pull that look off.
I have no issues with Alan. It has nothing to do with Alan. That role to me is just made for fucking John Cena. If he turns it down, I'll accept whoever gets it. If he turns it down, but if I find out he wasn't even offered the role, I'm fucking going crazy.
I mean, I'm fine with whoever, but like, obviously, hopefully it's someone we could definitely see in the role. Like, I've been like, bro, they've been talking about Duke Nukem movies forever.
Yeah.
Forever and ever and ever. So we'll see if they actually pull it off this time.
I mainly want them to do this movie to reboot the games. I want them to make more Duke Nukem games. And I kind of feel like if this movie takes off, it'll be right around the fucking corner.
It's funny. I the last time I played a Duke Nukem game, it gave me motion sickness. First person. That's why. But oh man, he was running that shit too fast. But I had Duke Nukem. I had the first person Duke Nukem. I had that on my PlayStation. Played that shit all the time. Loved that game. And then I loved when he became third person. I love that too. That was dope as hell too. So I'm a big fan of Duke Nukem. So hopefully you do it well.
I'm big on Duke Nukem too.
That'd be hard.
I mainly want John Cena to have it because Rock has Rampage. So I want Cena to have his own thing. No. I'm saying The Rock has his own thing with Rampage. I want Cena to have his own thing with Duke Nukem. I'm not comparing the two movies. Yeah, I'm just saying The Rock has something with that I hope we see another one.
I don't think we're getting Rampage 2.
I really hope we do. I love Rampage. I fucking love that movie.
It was not that good.
I loved it.
And I love that movie.
I love that movie. I fucking love that movie.
I didn't. I wasn't a fan of the depictions of the characters. So
I looked at it more so as like, there's a gorilla that's tearing up shit. Yeah. I'm good.
And I know why they did it. I was very like, I don't even look like George.
Mr. E says, if John Cena is not Duke Nukem, I don't want it. Yes, I agree. Trayvon says, who's making a movie? Trayvon, I don't like to tell you who's making movies because you like to make your decisions based off of a studio. You should never do that. Studios have hits and some misses. All of them.
Who's making a movie? Who cares?
Probably. I don't know. I don't even want to theorize. I'm not sure.
I really don't know either.
Rock will be both. Watch. Look, the way he stretches shit, there's a really good chance we'll have a bald.
I don't want a bald Duke Nukem.
It's a very good chance. You're not wrong there. All right, let's move on. Lindsay Beer will write and direct a reboot of Sleepy Hollow for Paramount with Todd Garner and Spencer Walken producing. I'm excited. I think that's very much a franchise that could be hit or miss, and we've seen it be hit or miss. I thought Johnny Depp did the movie, right? Yeah, he did the movie. The show is actually really fucking good. That came out on Fox. I really enjoyed that show.
I heard it was good, but I don't know. I've never been a big fan of either. So,
yeah, the movie to me was okay. So I'm like, yeah, why not bring it back? If you have a good concept for it, I'm game. It's a fucking really cool character, so I'm like, fuck it. You want to bring it back? Try it. They have nothing but misses. What studio are you referring to, Trayvon? But Joel, you looking forward to another Sleepy Hollow at all?
Not really, but I mean, whatever.
Hey, I respect it. Viola Davis, Jason Bateman.
Oh, Legendary.
Legendary's doing it?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Didn't Legendary do...
It's the Godzilla movies and shit. And Pacific Rim.
They also did the Rock movie we were just talking about, right?
I don't remember. I don't know who did Rampage. I can look it up. Well,
Trayvon, that wasn't you. That was Mr. E. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sorry. It followed right after what I saw you said, so I thought it was you. All right. New Line did it. Okay.
Warner Brothers did Rampage.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Isn't Legendary just a subsidiary of Warner Brothers?
They own they're sort of.
Yeah.
It's part of the whole family.
Yeah, they're like a branch of that tree.
Yeah, but Legendary didn't do it though. Dune was in it. I mean, Dune, New Line, Flynn. Yeah, them. It was part of New Line, basically. They were the head ones.
Viola Davis, Jason Bateman, Chris Tucker, Marlon Wayans, and Chris Messina joined Ben Affleck and Matt Damon in their upcoming film that focuses on Nike in pursuit of Michael Jordan.
That sounds like fun.
I'm more excited about the cast than I am the premise of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, at least I got good actors to portray something that interesting, but I would probably prefer it more as a series, but okay, fine. The movie works.
Sure. All right, I'm game.
Whatever.
Yeah, I'm there.
Whatever.
And you're going to have to help me on this name. I think I'm going to butcher it. But heading into our last half of the show, we're going to get into Geeked Week. The wrapping up of Geek. Yeah, Netflix Geeked Week. We talked about all we could last Monday, and then they finished up. So we got a little bit more we can finish up on. Castlevania, Nocturne. Just Nocturne. Okay.
Yeah.
Has been released. you got me. Once you said Castlevania, I didn't really give a fuck about anything else. I'm there.
And it's Richter this time. And Richter you can play as in Smash Brothers. So that's cool.
Yeah. I'm game for it. So our excitement is very high. Now, I'm very curious on what your thoughts are, because I know Trayvon said he was looking forward to it. I don't know what the fuck I'm looking at. I just really took it more so as it's made for children, so I just accepted it. But Sonic Prime. We got our first look at Sonic Prime, and I very much was just like,
okay.
All right. Like, okay, sure. All right. That's really all I can say to that.
Yeah, same. It looks okay. I just want to. They didn't really show much, so if they showed more, I would have been more interested. But I mean, I want to see a good Sonic show again. So please be good. Please be good.
Yeah, I mean that's really all we're asking for. We're not really asking for much. Just stop fucking up our characters. It's really it. Not really asking for anything crazy. Now this one had me sitting in the corner crying for hours. Out of excitement, because I thought the first one was a fucking classic. Old Guard 2 is adding in Uma Thurman and Henry Golding.
I have to see Old Guard again because I fell asleep.
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's just say no more. Say nothing else. It's okay. I'll take it from here. No, but all jokes aside, I am really excited to see. I really hope they do give us Charlize Theron versus Uma Thurman. I don't want them working together. I don't want them working together at all. I want to see Uma Thurman getting back into it, fucking shit up, back into her Kill Bill form, fighting Charlize Theron. That's all I want to see. That's it. If you give me that, I don't give a fuck what else is in this movie. You could tell me it's the worst writing ever, and I would say, I fucking saw Uma Thurman and Charlize Theron fight. My day was made. I don't give a fuck. So I'm letting you guys know how biased I am now. So if you see it and it's horrible, guess what? I don't give a fuck. So don't ask me. Don't ask me how I thought it was. If I get that fight, I'll say it was classic. So I'm telling you. And Henry Golding will be a nice addition to it. I fucking love Henry Golding when he's not Snake Eyes. Anything else, I'm fucking right there with Henry Golding. But so I'm excited for this. But Joel, you said you fell asleep on it. Were you tired, or was it just not vibing with you?
I think it didn't vibe very well, but I was tired. I'm always tired when I'm watching a movie, but it didn't help that I don't know. It didn't catch me, but again, I didn't finish the movie, so I can't really speak to I liked it or not. I only saw the beginning of it, and I don't remember any of it, so I
remember that shit almost word for fucking word. I love that.
It's hard for me to judge it really because I didn't really finish the movie, so I'll go back and watch, and I'll let you know if I actually liked it or not.
I mean, you said that like that was optional. You goddamn right you're gonna go back and watch this shit, Joel. You serious?
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I will say if you think it started slow, it definitely fucking picked up. That's for sure. It ends on a bang, and it ends on a cliffhanger. So that's always cool. I totally gotta watch it. Mystery, you know what? For a week, don't talk to me. You should have seen it. This is right up your alley. Fucking go watch it. Trayvon, yes for Old Guard 2, 100%. All right, let's move on. Chris Evans on a possible return as Captain America. Quote, it would have to be perfect. It just would be scary to rattle something that is, again, so dear to me. That role means so much to me. So to revisit it, it would be a tall order. So what he's saying, for you guys that don't speak a different language, I got you. He's saying Secret Wars. I'll be back for Secret Wars. That's it. That's really all he was saying.
What he's saying is, if I come back, it has to mean something. I'm not coming back for nothing. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, and it won't be permanently. That's it. That's all he's like.
We didn't expect you to be permanent, A, so no one was expecting that. B, Secret Wars.
We
all believe he'll be back.
Nobody. There's definitely people like, he's back, and that's it. They're going to lose their mind and then cry a bitch when he doesn't come back.
Sam Wilson is Captain America. Now let's move on. No.
Yeah, obviously.
No.
That's the toes you don't want to step on. That's why you got to be very careful with what you do.
Again, fucking no. He's not dead, so no. I'm moving on from calling him Captain America, sure. But do I still want Steve Rogers? Yeah, of course. So if that's what you mean, Trayvon, no. I have no delusions that he's back as Captain America. But do I want Steve Rogers? Fuck yeah. So
If
no,
he's
I
not
want Steve
Captain
Rogers
America,
back.
why even have Steve Rogers back?
Because there was a time where he was back and he was not being
in
called
the
Captain
comic
America.
because they were gonna bring him back as Captain America. It was only a small portion of time that was gonna happen.
Okay.
He's never gonna be gone forever in the
But
comic.
time out. Here's the thing: we're talking about this as only being a small portion, so he can come back, do some shit, and then go on. Fine with that.
He's old right now, so they would have to figure out a way to make him young again. And if he's young again, then might as well just be Captain America again. You know what I mean?
Not if it. I mean, we were talking about Secret Wars could possibly bring back RDJ as Iron Man.
That's different. Secret Wars. I'm talking about just in general.
I'm only talking about Secret Wars. I started this by only talking about Secret Wars.
Yeah, Secret Wars is a one-off, so that don't matter.
That's all I've been talking about since I brought this up. Secret Wars. That's all I thought he meant by it. Secret Wars. I don't want him back long term. Just Secret Wars.
That's what I'm saying.
Secret Wars. Do some cool ass shit with the whole big MCU now. Fantastic Four, X-Men, the whole nine, and then go right back. That's why I said I don't have any delusions of replacing Sam Wilson. I just want to see Steve Rogers back. That's it. That's it. Same thing with Iron Man. You know how excited I am for Ironheart. I have no delusions of RDJ coming back and replacing anybody. I don't need that. I had my time. I just don't want you gone completely now that the world is expanding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's all I'm saying. The world's expanded itself exponentially since you've left. I want to see you part of it.
That was my biggest issue going into Endgame because I knew they were going to do something like that, and I'm like, we're just getting everybody together.
We're just getting started. Like we're just getting started theoretically. So it's like, that was no. Yeah. I didn't like that at all. All right, so now this one we're gonna have a lot of fun with. I want you guys in the comment section to join along because this is gonna be a lot of fun. We got some Thunderbolts news.
Hey.
And this was some fun news. Jake
from State Farm.
How you pronounce his last name?
From State
Schreier. Jake has been tapped to direct the Thunderbolts movie from Marvel. Eric Pearson, who wrote Black Widow.
I would say Schreier.
Schreier? Okay.
Schreier, yeah.
Will write the script. Marvel has been in touch with certain individuals who are already part of the MCU to make sure to keep an opening in their schedules for next summer when Thunderbolts shoots.
Like we don't know already.
Yeah, we probably already know half of their team. Now, what I will say throws a big-ass monkey wrench in a lot of our brains is we definitely thought Red Hulk would be part of this. Yeah. We now believe that will not be the case.
Well, at the very least, I thought Thunderbolt Ross would definitely be involved. But
right, yeah. I mean, the name alone, right? it's like, well, that's not gonna happen. Well, and again,
do you think they kill him off?
I think they retire him.
Because you know what they could do too, right? They can actually make him the Red Hulk and just have him not go back to being Ross again.
Yes, they can. Yes, they can. The voice is what I wanted to still be attached. Like, I still wanted it to feel like him. I would much rather, because again, I don't really know where you're going Hulk-wise, right? And because I don't know is why I don't have a huge hard-on for Red Hulk to still be here. If you want to retire him and just not use Red Hulk, part of me is okay with that until I know what your plans are for the Hulk going forward. Because to me, I don't want Red Hulk just to be a Thunderbolt staple.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I need him to leak into Hulk also. But if you don't have major Hulk plans, then really it really doesn't bother me all that much. I'm not saying it doesn't matter because I know it does to.
Well, I don't like, especially in this version of the Thunderbolt. I think their money is on Abomination.
Right.
So it's not like you're in a rush to bring in Red Hulk anyway.
Right.
So, like, my favorite version of the Thunderbolt is the one with the Red Hulk on it. When he was the leader and they had all the anti-heroes and not the villains.
I'm with you. I'm 100% with you.
But
I don't disagree at all.
That's not going to be the one we're getting.
Right.
So, I do know we're going to get some hodgepodge version or like a Dark Avenger version like I explained to you a couple months ago. Like a month ago.
And I do want to say this because and I want you to, Joel, cut me off if as I'm saying it, you already disagree. I don't like, and I get it. Let me just say I understand why it's compared. But I don't like people saying it's Marvel's version of the Suicide Squad because the biggest drastic difference is usually the Thunderbolts are just or just anti-heroes, right? Anti-heroes being utilized to a degree.
They're villains pretending. The initial Thunderbolts, the one that Zemo started and called himself Citizen V or 5, whatever the fuck it was. They were villains in disguise as heroes,
right,
on purpose to infiltrate and do shit like that. Eventually, they actually some of them actually like being heroes.
right.
Zemo's, he didn't like that. He was like, what the fuck? So, like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work.
Right.
So it worked against him, and then eventually that's when like Hawkeye eventually became a bit. And that's when I actually got into it, because Hawkeye became the leader, and they brought in a character named Jolt, weird Asian character, cool character, but she was like Jubilee to me. But that was the initial Thunderbolts that had oh my god, what's her name? I forgot her name. Moonstone, I think.
I know exactly. I'm seeing her in my head where she has something over her
Songbird,
eye.
Moonbird, yeah. Moonstone, Meteorite, I think they're the same character. And you had Songbird, and you had like Atlas, all them were characters, right? Then later on, they had a version of the Thunderbolts that were during the Civil War. That version of Civil War, that version of the Thunderbolts, it was like Norman's squad. Like, he took villains and he was like where they were working for him during that time period, and that's when they turned I forget his name, but into Pain, and Venom was part of it, and all that weird grouping of villains. And then there was the Dark Avengers, during that time, around the same dark period. And then eventually there was Thunderbolts with the Red Hulk, and that was the anti-hero team that had Punisher, Elektra, Deadpool, Team Red, basically, right?
Right. Yeah.
Then there was a version with Bucky as the leader, and then now there's a street version of it that was working for Kingpin and Devil's Reign with U.S. Agent as like the lead guy, and which can't be what's it called? You know what I mean? Coincidence that U.S. Agent was the leader there, but and now there's going to be an alternate version, which is going to they're going to butt heads with the Kingpin's version, which was full of more good guys. But we'll see what the movie version is going to be. Probably a mix of all that.
Yeah. Mr. E says, I'm hoping Thunderbolts will be the darkest MCU film, and who would make a good villain for the team? Norman Osborn. He doesn't have to be restricted to Spider-Man. I lost my heart in Norman Osborn being part of it when Iron Man 3 came out. Once Iron Man 3 came out and they did that, and they made that decision. Yeah, they made that decision. And that's why, look, Joel, I've been I know, but I've been preaching this for forever now, that I think Norman Osborn should be part of Armor Wars. I think he'd be the perfect person to introduce an Armor Wars. And then if you want to say he takes the Iron Patriot suit, then yes, full speed ahead. But because that's so unlikely, that's why I'm like, because I don't want Norman Osborn in the MCU if you're not going that route. I just saw him as Green Goblin. I don't necessarily need that again. I would much rather him come in to be a quote-unquote Stark replacement, right? And then if down the line you want to do the Goblin version from the Ultimate Universe because it's something drastically different, fine. But for now, I would like him to come in as the heir apparent to Stark. Right, the guy replacing Stark, it's now Oscorp instead of Stark Industries. That's the big tech company now, science company. I'm fine with that, but because I don't think they're going that route, Mystery, is why Norman Osborn got pushed to the back of my head. Yeah. But what do you think, Joel? Do you think Norman? Let me rephrase that. What do you think about his question of Norman Osborn? And if not him, who do you see as being the definitive bad guy? Not anti-hero, not leaning one side or the other. Definitive, de facto bad guy. That could be the face of that team. Yeah.
That's tough. Who's the main? I want Justin Hammer to be Iron Patriot, honestly. I want him to take over.
Really?
Yeah, I told you that.
No, you told me how much you like Justin Hammer. I don't remember you telling me you'd like him to be Iron Patriot. Wow.
Yeah, I sent you the picture of the 6 of them, and I said you said you don't like War Machine there. I'm like, because it's not War Machine, it's Iron Patriot, and it's Justin Hammer as Iron Patriot.
Oh no, okay. So I guess I confused myself. I thought it was when I sent that picture, and we were talking about who the heir apparents to the original 7 would be.
No,
I was saying I didn't want War Machine to be that. Okay,
that's a different conversation.
I see what you're saying. I see what you're talking about.
I still want War Machine to be there.
Yeah, no, I said there, just not as the replacement. That's all I was saying for the future.
He's not the replacement. He's too old.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That was my only argument. I just didn't want him to be looked at as the replacement. As long as he's not.
If you're looking at the Avengers today, he is Iron Man.
Yeah. So she gets there. Yeah, I completely agree.
She's still too young to be there. It's gonna be a while until she progresses to that character.
I completely agree with you. We are not arguing with each other.
So
we're in complete agreement.
It's like a couple of years after she gets there.
Oh, you know what? Let me rephrase that. Once she arrives, like the true arrival moment, that's then. I think Justin Hammer will. I think Justin Hammer will stay forgotten like Betty Ross. I disagree completely. There's no reason for us to believe that Justin Hammer would be forgotten. I think Betty was only forgotten because there's no solo Hulk project. Yeah, so it's like you bring her in. It's like who? And they talked. Where are you bringing her in?
Like you said, there was no solo Hulk project, so it kind of put a damper on seeing Betty again. Yeah. It kind of feel like they pigeonholed her, you know. Right. No, but with Justin, we saw him at the end that one short, which was hysterical, and like he was a fan favorite in Iron Man 2. So even people that didn't like Iron Man 2, they love Justin Hammer. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like I would love to see him back just because he was just a fun character to have, and he fits into what they're doing with the Thunderbolts. You know, he's a smart dude, even though he's kind of stupid at the same time. He's got the money, you know, so it would work. Even though Zemo got his own money.
He's a baron.
Yeah, he's a baron. But I think that would be cool, just because it's a throwback to not just the Dark Avengers, but what the Thunderbolts were doing before in the comics. So it's like, okay, I wouldn't mind seeing the Iron Patriot as a part of the Thunderbolts, but with Justin Hammer as a Iron Patriot. And we already know that. Look, we're gonna get fucking U.S. Agent, and it looks like Yelena, at least at first, as part of this.
Yeah, I don't even. Depending on where this takes place, if this takes place current,
very against it. But I'm telling you,
no, I'm just saying if it takes place currently, it just narratively doesn't make any sense.
If it takes place not long after right now, she's part. Anybody that has had contact with Miss Fontaine is probably gonna be a Thunderbolt. That's what I'm saying.
No, and I'm not disagreeing. I'm saying if it takes place before Hawkeye, I'm completely with you. But if it takes place after Hawkeye, she left in a situation where she doesn't trust them. So I'm like, to go right back to them doesn't make any sense.
But she's working for them. That's all she's doing. She's not like, it's just like she's getting paid. That's how she's making her money.
I get you, but they just lied on your sister to go get you to kill somebody that didn't kill your sister. She kind of seemed like she had issues with that.
Yeah, well, she might still have issues. I don't think she's going to be there permanently, but I don't think it's a dead set cut. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they both are good now. You got to clarify that, Trayvon. I don't know what you mean.
Who are both?
That's what I'm saying. He has to clarify that. What's I gonna say? To me, I don't really know. I don't really know. I would like to see Bucky part of this, just to give him something to fucking do.
My only problem, and I agree, that would not be bad. I mean, there's a lot of characters you could just throw in here. Bucky, Ghost.
Well, we talked about Ghost years ago. We thought Ghost would be part of this team.
Yeah, I mean, those are characters that make sense. As long as you have a connection to the guy. I even have White Vision as a possibility. They're not doing anything with him.
I am very interested. What are your plans? Because like you could have just in that moment turned him back into Vision, and you made a decision to keep him White Vision.
Maybe they have plans for him.
I'm saying I can't wait to see how that plays out. Yeah, what those plans are.
That's why I figured they might use him for Thunderbolts because like what right now where else does he fit? Like
yeah. You know? Yep. U.S. Agent and Yelena. Well, they were never necessarily bad. So to me, I never took it as
and you don't have to be bad necessarily to
join the Thunderbolts, right? That's why I said a lot of people confuse it because Suicide Squad is based off of prisoners becoming soldiers. These people aren't necessarily prisoners. They're just being selected, to do it. A lot of these characters. Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joel.
No, it's just Thunderbolts. You have. There's ranges. You could be prisoners, but that's mostly just villains. Sometimes it's villains, sometimes it's heroes, sometimes it's anti-heroes. Right now with U.S. Agent and like Yelena, they're good people, but they're working for bad people. They just don't really acknowledge it at the moment, right?
Right.
And you have whoever else, like Abomination is a bad guy, but forever the government has been wanting to use the Abomination, so this is going to be their chance, right?
Right.
So I would say those three to start, and then like whoever else, I'm not really sure, but we'll see. I mean, this like we were just saying, Ghost Bucky's not a bad, because again another character like I don't know where else to put him. You could put him on the Thunderbolts, but he doesn't trust the government. So it's like,
we believe to a degree there's a possibility he could be in Captain America 4. So I'm like, there's places he could show up in. It's just more so like, all right, can we get some confirmation? Like, like you left it very confusing with that character. So it's like, I don't really understand.
What's his next journey?
Yeah, because the biggest problem me and you had was the whole arc of Bucky was to get out of being the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier.
You end the show saying Captain America and the Winter Soldier will return, and it's like, whoa, hold on. What? He just said, I don't want to be that anymore. And you're like, well, bitch, that's you forever.
We haven't decided what we're going to call you yet. You just got to run with that.
Yeah, they're like, we're not going to stick with White Wolf, so it's definitely Winter Soldier.
You sure? Because it's not that bad.
Yeah, so that's the biggest misconception, Trayvon, is that they don't necessarily have to be villains.
Right. No, not necessarily, no.
And I believe the narrative will be the Sokovia Accords are still in full effect, and the government wants heroes they can control. That's where the Thunderbolts come.
I do believe Zemo is part of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. Zemo I could see more so as like in the shadows. He's not somebody that they promote when they promote the
Because you remember, like at the end of fucking Winter Soldier, he gets put back in jail.
Right.
And those motherfuckers still die.
Yes.
At the end. I'm like,
so we assume he broke out.
There was some dirty shit going on. Even if he didn't, he had that plan where even if he went back, they were gonna die.
Yeah, he was like, yeah. You put me back here, you die, and you die, and you die. All right. To no shock to us, Joel, Thunderbolts will hunt down Deadpool. Deadpool could be part of the Thunderbolts.
So can Punisher, but I'm like, it's like eventually.
Well, it depends. It depends because Punisher is tricky because I'm curious. Does Feige have any interest in reviving the Defenders? Because if he does, then that's naturally right. Because if he does, that's naturally where Punisher will go back. Will default go back to.
What they should have been is the Heroes for Hire, and
you would open that up to a group more so than just two people.
Because in the past, it's been Luke, it's been Danny, it's been Jessica, it's been the Daughters of the Dragon, it's been all of them. So it's like that's been Heroes for Hire. So I mean, maybe not Daredevil specifically, and maybe that's why they called them the Defenders instead, because he's not going to do it. He don't need to get paid. He's a superhero.
Right.
He's Mr. Pro Bono himself, So it's like, that's the only character that doesn't really fit that whole narrative. But Daredevil's very much a loner anyway. So I mean, you put Daredevil anywhere, people are going to watch. So if you want to do it with Heroes for Hire, do you want to restart the Defenders, the street level Defenders, that's fine too. Mm-hmm. Or do you want to go, the cosmic Defenders? We're going to get to a point where we're going to have all those characters. So
we are. Yep. All right, so moving on, we got a few more here. To shock of no one, The Boys has been renewed for a 4th season.
What? Okay.
That's the shock of. I mean, Amazon. That's till Lord of the Rings comes out. That is their bread and butter. So there is no shock that we will continue to see that.
It just feels like there's always a long wait for all of it for some reason.
Oh no! I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that as a slight. I just mean that that's easily their cash cow. Is The Boys.
Yeah.
So that's why I mean that's their leading man. So to me, it's like the reviews have never been bad since its inception. So no shocker there that they're gonna keep riding this. All right, let's see what else we got before we get into a few shows that we've seen. That's really it. All right, let's get into Joel, your thoughts on Ms. Marvel from last week.
Awesome. I think we talked about it in the review. She's great. She's great. The show has a great brightness to it, a great feel to it. It's very joyful. I absolutely had a great time with it, and we get to experience a new version of the character because of the fact that they're introducing her powers in a different way. And so we get to see a new journey with her, and a lot of people are not taking it very well, but nobody likes change. So and
it's not even necessarily change. What I think people don't understand is if I introduced a Terrigen Mist and then introduce her actual accurate powers, I would have had to have immediately greenlit an Inhumans project. And clearly Feige isn't there yet. He's not ready for that yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what you're not going to do is tell me that a Terrigen Mist happened, and I'm waiting 6 years just to see fucking Black Bolt. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should kind of be connected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to me, I would have had a way bigger issue with that.
They basically wanted to introduce her before they introduced the Inhumans as a whole. Mm-hmm. And this is their way of doing it. This is their back end way of introducing her as an Inhuman before the Inhumans are a thing. Right. And we're just gonna have to be patient on how they unfold everything, because I think there is something behind it all.
Yeah, and look, you guys are the ones complaining about it. You guys are lucky. I had to watch them drop Age of Ultron, right? And then the very next year drop Ant-Man with no fucking connection of the two. So I got to watch one of my favorite villains be completely taken apart, right? Completely altered, and there will be no reprieve, right? We are under no concept that they'll do another Ultron. So it's like, that's gone. I lost that. There's so much time to rectify Miss Marvel or enhance Miss Marvel if need be. We just fucking saw it with Wanda. That's why I don't understand why people are complaining. We saw them call them enhanced individuals, right?
Yep.
Only to when the time came, she's now a mutant. There you go.
Officially, but yeah, they're definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
The arrows are pointing in that direction.
Right. So I'm like, that was all just a wait, and you thought you'd never get it.
Well, that's the problem.
At least you know Inhumans is down the line.
Yeah, especially now after we saw Multiverse of Madness, the door's open. You know, There's like, oh, we've already seen what a Black Bolt could look like in this universe.
I believe when Feige does the next big phase, that will be announced. I think
you're right. Look, Inhumans, should have been announced a while back. They were part of the original fucking phase 3. In phase 3, we were supposed to get them, I think, or after or before Infinity War.
Before Infinity War.
And that's when we were going to get them. Imagine that. That's what the plan was before they removed them and made them a TV thing. And that was the worst decision ever. Just trying to play ball.
I think we could thank Ike for that.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was the moment that Kevin Feige was like, I might go to DC because this is some bullshit.
He's like, I do like Batman. I do. I really do.
He was like, oh, no, that did not just happen.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, y'all got to either get him under control or I'm out. Those are your options.
Never happening again. Oh, my God.
No, thank you. All right, yeah, I enjoyed Miss Marvel. Fucking love it. I told you she's now the essence of that character.
She's great, and the character is great.
Yes. By the way, if you guys haven't checked it out, I'll find it and source it for you guys. But Iman Vellani she was supposed to name all the Marvel movies in like under 2 minutes. And one of the movies she could not think of was fucking Captain Marvel. Like, she got stuck and was just like, I can't think of any. She's like, which ones am I missing? They were like, first of all, Captain Marvel. She was like, fuck. She didn't say fuck, but she was like, oh, duh. So yeah, but that's a lot of pressure, by the way. There's almost 30 movies.
That's a lot of movies, yeah.
On the spot to ask somebody,
in like under 30 seconds. It's fucking.
By the way, if you ever ask me to do that, I'd rather you ask me to do it by phase. I could do it that way, which sounds really weird, but I could easily do it by phase. Mm-hmm. But when you ask me to just name all of them, I'm now thinking of them as they come. Right, rather than like, let me structure.
You could cheat like Thor, 3 of them.
Right. All right, let's move on. What did you think of this week's episode of The Boys? I really enjoyed it a lot.
What episode haven't I enjoyed of The fucking Boys? The Boys is so good, man. So good. That show's fucking wrong. It's so good, but it's good because it's wrong. It's really what it is. Yep. Yes, they did.
They did.
That was the first episode.
First of all, let me just say this. Once you bring in a Hispanic character, they shouldn't die as horribly as Homeboy died. Like, come on, man.
I mean, they didn't even show us powers, bro.
No, they didn't. They showed his pedophile song. That's what they showed.
Team Pop Star.
You know what's crazy, Joel? I felt so weird. That is the most nastiest, catchiest song I've ever experienced in my entire life.
That's
I keep wanting to sing it, but I'm like, I can't sing that out in public. They're like, what'd you just say? It's like, it's The Boys. Like, what? It's like, oh no, that sounds even worse. It's a show called The Boys where they sing it. It's like, yeah, I don't know. You're weird. Stay away from this area over here.
You can't go to this don't go to the park anymore.
Yeah. But no, they did a great job. Kimiko is always, but you know, the reasons why I think Kimiko is a standout. I have the biggest crush on Karen Fukuhara. But like you said, this show just gets better per episode, and that's rare. That doesn't usually happen.
Right.
Like I rewatched it from season 1, you know, leading up to the new season when it dropped. I don't think in my opinion, I don't think there's a filler episode in any season so far.
Oh, everything is important. Everything matters. And you know what? It's not afraid to be itself.
Yeah. Bro, we saw a tiny person inside of a pee-pee hole tickling it.
It's not like, afraid.
They're not afraid. Of course not.
And Amazon, you got to give credit to Amazon for letting them be themselves.
Yeah. Look, to be fair, Invincible would not have been as popular had all that violence been taken out.
It's true.
Even though it still had great writing, great twists, everything was great. Yeah. If that violence was not there, that show would not have been talked about.
I'm pretty sure the show amped up the violence. I don't remember being that bad. It was crazy.
It was like, yeah, half a city going down. I don't remember that. Like taking out a full-on train.
That train scene, like what the fuck? You know, there's a lot of crazy shit in that. That comic book goes nuts. And it gets even crazy. You think it's crazy now? It gets crazy, but
it's fucking wild.
But the fact that they went even harder than the comics in certain points, I'm like, all right, what the fuck are they going to show us when it comes back? So again, this show gets nuts.
It's fucking bonkers. I'm with you there. So what do you think about what's his name? Played by
Soulja Boy?
No. Well, yeah. You know what? Fuck what I was gonna ask. Let's talk about Soulja Boy. What are your thoughts on Soulja Boy?
I'm very curious what this new power he has is. What the fuck is that about? Unit beam without the thing? All right, that's different.
It definitely looked like they amped him up a bit because he's supposed to be the flip side of Homelander, essentially, power-wise. Like he's essentially supposed to be their weapon against Homelander. So I kind of feel like they might have amped him so that he can live up to that.
Yeah, you know what it is? Whatever he is now is be what works against Homeland.
Right.
Because obviously he shot Emiko.
Yes, Kimiko.
And she can't heal. So she's like, I know it hurts now. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Right.
So what does that mean? Is like a depower way or what the fuck? He can depower people with his rays?
Yeah, I think when it hits you, whatever your power is, it kind of like nullifies it. Especially if it's healing. Yeah. I'm very excited, and I can't wait for everybody that's a fan of Soulja Boy right now for when we get to that. And I haven't seen anything, guys, so this isn't me spoiling anything, but I can't wait. So everyone's like, yeah, fuck Homelander, and Homelander makes it out of it yet again. So
Homelander is easily one of the more best villains.
You know what Homelander reminds me of? And you can shed light to this way more than I can. I swear to God, I don't ever remember a time where Darkseid died and stayed dead.
Yeah, he's very like a roach.
Motherfucker doesn't die. So like as I'm watching Homelander, I'm like, this bitch is fucking. He's Darkseid. Darkseid just don't be dying. Yeah. And it also does go to the fact that Superman doesn't necessarily kill.
He's not able to kill him anyway.
Right, that helps. But this motherfucker don't die, man. He just don't. Fought the Justice League, live to tell it. Fought Superman, live to tell it. He should be living out here. Motherfucker don't die. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how that all plays out and where they choose to go with it. But speaking of Darkseid, as we wrap this up, Joel, we got some Young Justice to talk about.
Oh, baby.
How dare you end this season like that? To me, if you want to end the season like that, you end it after I get confirmation you're coming back. Once I get it, end it however the fuck you want to.
Right.
Because look, think about the last time we were in this situation with Young Justice. It ended like this. They said it's no more, and then we fought years to get the motherfucker back. I don't have that fight in me again. I thought I did enough the first time to secure it.
Yeah. I don't know why it's a question. Just give us what we want. and give it to us now because it's obviously good. The show's obviously really good. It gets its views, and it ends always in a cliffhanger where you're like, "Oh snap!" like,
yeah,
come
I saw
on,
Trayvon. Trayvon was going crazy. Like, you see the new Furies? It's like, yes, I did, and that's a fucking team. And they answered our question. What did we ask? We said in that episode, what are you gonna do with that other half of Captain
Mary Marvel?
Yes, Mary Marvel. Thank you. I was gonna say Captain Marvel. Technically, it is, but Mary Marvel.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
We were like, what are you gonna do with her? And then they never said anything. Now we know they got an OP team of fucking Furies. That team is so OP. They only need 2 of them out of that whole fucking group.
Well, to think they will all be converted at some point.
They will. They will all go back to the good side, and that'll be so much fun to see. But them playing in the darkness a little bit, I like that. I like it a lot. I can't wait to see what else they do with it.
I mean, I forgot about Kara. I'm like, where the fuck is Supergirl? They never show her, right? So now we know why.
And not only do they not show her, you literally never hear Clark talk about her. Like, this motherfucker got Connor in his life and forgot about his cousin. He said, cousin? I don't have those.
Well, that's the thing. Now we're gonna see like what the hell that's all about, and I'm looking forward to seeing their explanation for Supergirl, Kara, and what's going on with Mary, and then more of Barda, because I think we saw a little bit before.
Just a little bit. Just
not
a
lot.
little bit.
Yeah. So now we get more of Barda, so that's awesome. Hopefully we get some Mr. Miracle with that.
Fucking fingers crossed. But yeah, I love this team. I can't wait to see how everything pans out in the new season. I'm speaking it into existence.
Yes.
And I am curious if they take another time jump, because if they do, I do want to see Clark's son older. Not older, but just a little bit older than where he is now.
Right now he's like a toddler.
Right.
Shit.
I want to see him at least as like 12, 13 years old if they do another time.
I think they're gonna do. I think they always said every time we get a new season, we're gonna jump.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
People are gonna age.
Which is funny because I swear to God, Nightwing has looked the same since he's become Nightwing. Motherfucker don't look like he's
Nightwing. How many seasons now? We're on what season was this?
Where he became Nightwing? That was season 2. They made that big ass jump.
How many seasons have we had? It wasn't a big jump. It was like 5.
From 2, I think 3 in total after season 1.
So it was 4 seasons, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And I think almost every season has been a jump, except maybe this recent season.
Shout out to Jayla. Jayla said she could totally name all of the MCU movies. It's all right. We're going to get you on a podcast for you to do it. We're not going to tell you what podcast, so you can't prepare for it.
You got 30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds, all of them. And don't forget anything. But yeah, I am very curious to see where they go with this. But cool little fun fact, Joel, as I'm watching Spectacular Spider-Man, do you remember the character, the Tinkerer, in season 2?
I didn't remember.
Voiced by the same guy that does Clarion.
Oh, really? Same dude?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening to him talking. I'm like, that voice. But to be fair, the one connection there is Greg Wiseman. So he just clearly used a lot of his voice acting.
Same people.
Right. So there's no shock there. All right. And last thing before we get out of here, your thoughts, Joel, on Kenobi.
Kenobi. Awesome. No, the show's been good. And this episode was pretty decent. I didn't hate it. I know a lot of people were like, crying and, they want to go stab themselves and shit. I'm like, it's only, give you 2 more episodes where you could do that.
I'm not gonna do it at all. It's okay.
No. Like, continue. Don't stop. I'll just give it a chance before you finish. You deserve to at least finish the season before you kill yourself. But I enjoyed it, and I probably enjoyed it because I got to see Obi-Wan back in his true to form. Mm-hmm. He's starting to finally roll into form, and I think that's what was missing most of the season, because he's kind of been like, I don't want to do it. He's been fighting it. He's been fighting it the whole time. He's been fighting it. Like, I'm not that guy anymore. And so he finally got to come out of it, like shake off the rust, and that was cool. I enjoyed that. I loved seeing little Leia do her thing. She's a badass little girl. Fun to watch her work. It's fun watching Reva try to pry that shit, even though that was very mean of her. Pry the information out of that little girl. It was fun seeing Darth lose his fucking temper and almost kill that bitch right there and then. But then, we probably won't have a second season if he did that.
Apparently there's a rumor floating around that she will get her own spinoff series.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I need all that, but okay.
I don't need what I have of her now, but
Yeah.
if you're gonna
That's
do
what
it,
I mean. Like, but if I
am
don't need
curious.
that, then why would I need a whole new show?
Well, I am curious because I do want an Inquisitor series. I do.
I would like an Inquisitor series. I don't need.
She might be, depending on how this season ends. Like, let's say she dies, her series essentially would be an Inquisitor series. It would be about them taking her from the temple and then seeing her be raised through the ranks of the Inquisitors. So it'd be like a backdoor Inquisitor series.
That's different. Like, if you're telling me it's an Inquisitor series where she's a focus, I'll take it.
Yeah.
But if it's just, I'm gonna get.
If
Reva
she lives at the end of
Day in
this,
the life of Reva.
yeah, if she lives at the end of this, and then I get a series about her, I very much will believe that I have no interest in it. Without hearing anything about it, I'll believe I have no interest in it. Because I don't really have any interest now. So I'm like, to expand it, I probably really won't care. But I'm optimistic, hopeful, I guess, open, whatever the words are.
Open's a good word.
So I'll see how they play it out, but be careful. Be fucking careful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I said, it didn't feel natural to Vader. That was it. I don't really care about anything else. I know I talked about the whole walking in the jacket and shit. I don't care.
That was silly.
Vader
I agree with that.
Vader was just my biggest thing. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everything was fine. Other than that, I didn't really mind most of it. I like the whole swimming into the prison because it reminded me of Fallen Order.
Fallen Order, yeah.
I love the surprise of
No, go ahead. The surprise of what?
O'Shea Jackson.
Yeah, what the fuck?
That was so anticlimactic, but we did that to ourselves.
No, remember we didn't. Remember, I only said that to you because he came out and said, "Man, if they hated who she was playing, they're really gonna hate my character." We took that as like, oh, because a lot of people thought they hated her being a female black Inquisitor, right?
Right.
So when he said that, we were like, well, we got mention of Quinlan Voss the last episode. Maybe he's Quinlan Voss. Maybe that's what he was referring to. So if he hadn't have said that, I don't think anyone was thinking that O'Shea Jackson was Quinlan Voss.
That's not true. A lot of people were. I think a lot of people were because I saw
before a lot of people, he said that.
Yeah, I didn't see his quotes until after.
I saw his quotes and then I saw people saying that. So I'm like, yeah, that's why a lot of people.
I think Christian Harloff say it, and I'm like, okay. Then I saw someone else say it, and then I saw him say that, but I didn't think much of it.
Yeah, I can tell you, I had no thoughts about that beforehand because I forgot he was even in the fucking show. So he said it, and I was like,
I forgot completely too.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, oh yeah.
I wish I did, so it would have been a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, I believe he set up my false expectations. But again, I wasn't upset that he wasn't Quinlan Voss. I was just upset that his character, and again, we'll see it play out over the next 2 episodes, starting this Wednesday. His character just seems so unimportant. So it's like, huh? Why did you just get one of your crew members to do this character? Why did you go get O'Shea Jackson? But okay, I'm willing to see how it plays out. And like I said,
there's more to him, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm willing. Somebody theorized, and I won't take it as mine. Somebody theorized that he has a connection to Reva.
Why? Because he's black?
No. Because he kept saying that he lost his wife.
Okay.
So a lot of people were saying that maybe Reva's motivations isn't to kill the Jedi. It's to get higher in ranks because with more rank comes more information. She's looking for him. She can't find him. And I'm like, again, it's 2 characters I don't care about. So if that's your little subplot, sure, I don't mind.
She's looking for information to get to him?
To find him. She's looking to try to find. When the higher you get, the more access you have to wherever they think local rebel bases are, shit like that, right? Because they've already kind of retconned it a bit. Inquisitors are usually specific set group each time. It's never forever changing unless.
So they're saying that they're married? Is that what they're saying?
Yes. That's what. Again, this isn't a rumor. This is just someone's theory. This isn't anything I want you guys to substantiate or anything. No. I'm just saying it's 2 characters I don't give a fuck about. So if that turns out to be,
you said they were related. I was like,
no. More so like
these people, I swear.
Yeah, more so married. Yeah, not all black people are related to other black people. That's not how that works. But yeah, my biggest thing is I was promised a very, very, very violent Darth Vader, and I haven't seen it yet. So I'm hoping in these last 2 episodes I get a shit ton. So That's it. That's my biggest issue. So.
I came for Obi-Wan. I got Obi-Wan. So
I came for Vader. Yeah, I did.
It's called Obi-Wan.
It's also co-starring Vader. So
it's called
the Reva
Obi-Wan
thing was new. The Reva
Kenobi.
thing was new. Because when they first announced it, it was very much Kenobi versus Vader, the rematch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, fuck yeah.
Kenobi.
It's like Reva. It's like, the fuck did she come from? Okay, all right, okay, cool.
I didn't know her role was that big. Who the fuck is this?
I didn't at all. I definitely thought the role she had would be the role Vader had. So I was very much just like, okay, all right. I don't think you focus group this, but okay. But all right. I want to give a huge shout out.
What idea was this?
Yeah, like, come on, don't do that. But I do want to give a huge shout out to Joe, Mr. E, and Trayvon in the comment section. We appreciate you guys. We had a lot of fun. I want to give a big thanks to Jayla for putting together this whole stream, the whole intro. I might just keep that intro going forward. I really fucking love that intro.
No, I love it.
I really do. Yeah, I love that intro.
Why would we change it? It looks great.
That's staying.
Me gusta too mucho.
Make sure you guys that are interested in sports tune in tomorrow. GVN Sports 9:00.
Yeah.
We'll be breaking down the NBA Finals, some fun NBA and NFL topics also, and then of course Wednesday we'll be breaking down Miss Marvel and Kenobi. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. And Thursday, the last scare. Jayla, Blake, and Sabrina got a lot of good stuff planned for you guys.
Awesome.
So make sure you stay tuned for that this Thursday. And that's all we got for you guys. Again, thank you. And Joel, as always, thank you for doing this pod with me, man. Always love podding with you. I always learn something. Whether it's how to pronounce some shit, whether some shit even existed. Did I fabricate something? I always learn something. That's usually the common denominator. I made up some shit.
That's not how it went. I swear to God, that's what it was called.
You tell me Batman wasn't black this whole time? I'm making this up? Okay, all right. But thank you guys. Till next time. Peace.